Mic check 1 2 1 2. This is the podcast of the people. What is you gonna do, ladies and gentlemen? It is Wednesday night. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've had a productive week so far at work. So Screwball is gonna take that productiveness and turn it into straight ignorance. So I am that Screwball drinking, Roderick Davis supporting, can't ban the snowman listening, pseudo-sexual, touchdown stopping, quarterback sacking. In 8th grade, I was a rapper slash entrepreneur, street pharmacist, look it up, and all around good guy. I am C. Turner. And my right-hand man on my left-hand side, but he's still my left-hand man on my right-hand side. Watch this. The gainfully employed, the touchdown catching, the coming out of the retirement for a flag football tournament in Vegas. He don't know that yet, but I just committed it to it. The shit talking, if my hand goes up, the ball better go up too. Mister, don't put nobody on my side who don't want to get scored on. Period. James, big game. All I run is the 9 route Walton III. What's going on, baby?
Hey, what's good, America? I mean, you know, I love that intro because, I mean, let's call a spade a spade. 90% of that is true. But, Chris, I mean, I can run the route tree, man, but you know. We ain't got, you know, we're going to talk about other, like, I'm good, man. I'm good, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just feeling like a dark night type of day, man. So, you know, that's just where we're at with it. You know what I'm saying? We out here, man, didn't even arrange this, but both got on black, man. Just one of those moments, man. But let's just be honest about it. Chris Turner tasked me with going to the pad today and writing some things down because the gainfully employed had a random Wednesday off. So I was like, let me sit and think about some stuff. What's really going on? You know, what are we going to touch on? And I'm going to start it plain and simple, man. And and for me, it's, I have vested interest in this particular player. We have talked about him a lot. Everybody in the world knows who we're going to talk about. But I want to bring it from this angle and talk about it this way. And I'm going to pose the question to you first, Chris, and let you have the floor. Plain and simple, is Patrick Mahomes suffering from what I call Michael Jordan MVP syndrome? And what this means, America, and what I want to explain to you by this is that from basically 1987 to 1998, Michael Jordan won 5 MVPs. Okay, so basically, kind of a rate of just about every other year, he was the MVP. But there were certain years he wasn't the MVP, and you couldn't understand why.
Nope.
He should have had maybe 8 MVPs. We'll take the 5. The 5 were dope. But, you know, there's a bit of this fatigue of like, well, we know he's the best player. If somebody else has this type of year, we should give it to him. A la Charles Barkley, 1993, a la Karl Malone, 1997. And we both know what happened to those teams. So do you think Patrick Mahomes is starting to suffer from that? Because when they talk MVPs, when you hear all these pundits that, you know, we definitely look to because we want to be on that level with this show, and it's more of the national, not what they say out of their mouths, outside of Shannon Sharp, who I love.
Uncle Shay Shay.
You know, Club Shay Shay, I'm always trying to get my way. I'm trying to know somebody to get past that line and get into Club Shay Shay. You know what I mean? So shout out Shannon Sharp. But do you think Patrick Mahomes, it's the start of this now? Because we, even on this show, we've been guilty of it. We talked heavily about Russ, the emergence of Tom. We've talked about Aaron Rodgers, you know? And now, after that Hail Mary throw, I'm already hearing it. Kyler Murray is in the conversation. You know, we spent a whole 30 minutes talking about the reigning MVP. What's going on with Patrick Mahomes, who's arguably having statistically, could end up being the greatest touchdown to interception ratio in the history of the NFL, the way he's going.
So let's just get into it. Like, unequivocally, and matter of fact, folks,
that's college work right there.
It got real collegey in here. Folks, I'm gonna let you know right now. It's big things on the horizon for What's Good America. So tonight, for most of it, until the screwball kick in, I'm gonna clean it up. Just for tonight. Just because of what we possibly have on the horizon. So I'm gonna clean it up until I get drunk. So unequivocally, yes, he is suffering from the Michael Jordan greatness disease. Here's why. Let me go through the whole MVP race, how I see it. You got the bad man in Green Bay having a great season. Well, he's having a good season, borderline great season right now. Okay. You got Danger Russ, who another great season. I think he has about 2,800 yards, and he has a bunch of picks right now. He's up to 10.
This last 3 weeks.
He's up to 10 picks right now, but that's mainly because his defense couldn't stop me at quarterback. So they're suffering, and he's suffering for it. You got the kid, Kyler Murray. Let's see, he has 22 touchdowns. He has like a handful of picks. It might be 3 or 5.
Yeah, don't forget but he's got and I don't have to look at this stat. I know this. He's leading the league in touchdowns because you got to add everything on the ground. Like he's coming up on some territory here.
Yeah, he is.
He's going. So shout out to him as well.
So you got the kid that's in it. Quietly as kept. Big Ben is actually in this race.
Yeah.
His numbers aren't like statistically high as Big Ben's usually are, but it's still 8-0. He doesn't turn the ball over. He makes the right throw. He makes the right play. So yeah. Big Ben is in this.
Defeated, man.
But then if you think about all of that, but you still look at Patrick Mahomes' numbers, it's not close. Yes, they lost the game to the Raiders. Yes, I believe they're going to go stomp a mud hole in the Raiders just because you screwed up our perfect season. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like Andy Reid is petty like that, which makes me respect him even more. He's suffering from it. Like it's a disease that any athlete will love to suffer from, suffering from greatness. If you suffer from greatness, that means you set the bar so high to outdo yourself. You have to outdo yourself times, like you have to put in a cheat code pretty much to outdo yourself. And that's what he's struggling with right now. Like it's, all right, well, I already did a no-look pass. Now do I have to physically turn my back and throw it over my shoulder? Like, oh, I already been running to the left and threw it back right to a streaking Tyreek Hill and then hit him right in the numbers. Like, what do I have to do now? Like, it comes down to what does he have to do now? And he's doing it. That's the sad part about it. Like, one loss to a very good, and I'll never repeat this, but one loss to a very good Raiders team. Okay? Outside of that, he's been embarrassing people. And Sports Center, First Take, old Shay, it's getting looked over because he's supposed to do that. Yeah, he's supposed to do it, and he's doing it, so it's his to lose. Like, Lamar is out of it for now. Like, it's still season to go. He can get back in it, but it's going to be hard for him to get back in it. Lamar is out. Honestly, Danger Russ and Kyler are going to have to cancel each other out. Same conference. You still got you still have the number one defense. You have the number 1 and number 3 defense in that division of the conference. So, they're going to cancel each other out. So now that leaves the race between Big Ben, Aaron, and Pat. Well, let's look at it as a whole. If you take Big Ben first, they're going to shut Big Ben down. Like once that first round bye is like secure, like that first round is locked up and like, all right, we got the first seed. We're going to be home throughout, blah, blah, blah. They will shut him down. Because, one, they need to start looking at the future because, honestly, the kid they got behind Big Ben ain't it. So they'll shut Big Ben down because, like, listen, we can drop 2 at the end of the season. We already got home field playoffs. We're good. So you got to shut them down because freak accidents happen every day. Aaron. Aaron is the wild card in this because Aaron reminds me of, like, Steve Young in, like, them early 90s because – Aaron will have about 4 games where he turns into just Goku with the blue hair. Like, it's astronomical numbers, and it gets real stupid out there with what he's doing. So he's the wild card. And even still, if Aaron goes Super Saiyan, that's still Patrick Mahomes on a regular day. It's suffering from greatness, man.
I mean, I took my time just to go look and just kind of see, like, all the guys that, you know, we've talked in this race. I went to the stat books. So you're talking about a guy right now who's top 5 in yardage. You're talking about a guy who's top 3 in touchdowns. You're talking about a guy where it's not even close with his interceptions. The only guy is Aaron Rodgers, who's played as much. That's in the conversation. Aaron Rodgers has thrown 3, which says a lot about Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Completion percentage. He is down a little bit lower. He's top 16. So, to me, and you know, when you're basically you have the best interception to touchdown ratio, which is 25-1. I mean, America, can we understand 25-1?
4%. 4%.
In 9 games, he's thrown 1 interception.
In the NFL.
With
in the NFL, mind you.
No. With 7 games left to go. And this is a guy, in all honesty, that I think purposely, and I think it's been well done by Andy, what they've done, I think they have really curtailed him for a reason. I think they wanted to make sure that they could establish certain things and win in different ways, you know. And I think it really started with them winning that Super Bowl, the ability to have that guy, but have a defense that can go, all right, all we got to do is get this guy 2-3 stops in a row.
And that's terrifying.
We give him 2-3 stops in a row, he's going to give us 14 points for those next 3 possessions. He's going to score 2 touchdowns minimum. It might, it could be 2 field goals and a touchdown. Like, he's going to find a way to give us a 14-point push. And now your Frank Clarks, your Chris Joneses, these guys just get to go off, And Chris, it's amazing to me because for the life of me, actually, I kind of get it as a player. Now, like, I saw it happen to Chris Dixon when we played the second year, where he wasn't even in the conversation, our second title. And to me, he's the one that held us all together. Chris's play is what did it, offensively for us. And because his numbers weren't as glossy as they were in 2008 and 2009, he didn't even get a sniff of being the MVP of the league. And we were like, but we scored the damn near same amount of points, and Chris damn near had the same amount of touchdowns. It just wasn't as – it was very – like 2009 was glossy for us. Like, it was –
yeah.
I mean, hardcore rapper, but he's glossy. Like, it was 2009, dude. We were like, it was – listen, it was Bad Boy Records okay, in the shiny suit era, okay, like
Yeah, it was.
you know, and that to me, that's what Patrick Mahomes' first MVP season was. It was the Mo Money, Mo Problems video. And if anybody has seen videos, that's one of the funnest videos you've ever seen. Matter of fact, any video from Bad Boy in them couple of years outside of the victory video and all about the like, dude, just him and Mace just, you know what I'm saying? They made the desert look cold.
How you want to. How you want to. Baby, it's around. You know I straight front you.
Hey, man, I'm telling you, that was like, but this one, man, this is gritty. Like, this is like The Dark Knight Returns gritty. Like,
dude, this is Death Row Records is what it is.
Like, he's just
that's really what it come down to.
He's doing what has to be done, but then he's splicing in some Heath Ledger scenes in there, you know what I'm saying? And making it Academy worthy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's so to me, I just, for the life of me, I think we've gotten to a place in this world, Chris, where we really, really hate greatness.
Yeah.
I really have come to this point. Like, it's, I think LeBron has suffered from it a little bit from time to time. I've felt bad for him here and there. The only difference is with him, he hasn't capped a lot of it off.
No.
Like he should. Like, if LeBron was capping, if he was like 6 out of 10 right now,
that'd be a completely different conversation.
I'm telling you, like, then we'd be calling this LeBron James MVP syndrome. We wouldn't be calling this Michael Jordan MVP syndrome. I seen it happen with Peyton Manning's another guy where you saw these banana numbers. Like, these numbers were like off the charts. And even some days you're like, really? There have been seasons with Aaron Rodgers. But I feel like this kid is going to suffer because I think the world knows, and I've been saying this, I have a good contingent of friends that were Chiefs fans and still are Chiefs fans because that's one of the most loyal fan bases in the world.
Yeah.
Every time I talk to them, and you see that they're 8-1, it's the quietest 8-1 you've ever seen in your life. Nobody's talking about the Chiefs. You talk to anybody else in football, they're talking about, well, look how good Arizona is. Look at Tom down in Tampa Bay.
Yep.
Oh, my God. What's going on with Lamar Jackson? Look at the Miami Dolphins. You know, here's the thing about it. I love that Randy Orton pose.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's
RKO this podcast shit.
That's one of the best poses now. And when I say that, it's all warranted. Like, these are teams that are playing very good football that I'm fans of the way they're playing styles. You know, look at Pittsburgh. Oh, my God. The last time Pittsburgh, Chris, and this is a great set I saw, they're 9-0 now. The last team that was undefeated 9-0 and won was the 2009 Saints. And we all know how good that team was. That team beat Peyton.
Yep.
So that was a very good football team. And Pittsburgh, I mean, Ben's doing things that they've never been 9-0 in the history of their entire. And we're talking about the Steel Curtain, man. Like, this is one of
and that's saying something. That's saying something.
But through all this, you know, I don't know if I hear the right pundits. Like, it's like they said it in week one. They're scared to, like, stick to it. I'm the guy that's going to stick to my guns on this show. I will apologize later, like I had to for the Clippers, like we had to.
That's a fact.
I'm going to stick to my guns. Because every time I backtrack on some shit, it ends up called, oops. Every time I backtrack on some stuff, sorry, Chris, we try to keep it clean, at least the first second. It ends up costing us, man. And I know when we did, well, who's going to win? I said it goes through, and I've said that, and I will continue to say it. We can go back and look at the last 10 shows. It goes through Kansas City until Patrick Mahomes says it doesn't go through Kansas City anymore. And I'm going to tell you guys right now that have started to listen to this show and have made it known that we are here. This is the truth of the matter. That's how good this guy is. And if you don't, and this is what I asked my Chiefs fans, I said, how does it feel to know you guys are getting ready to become the New England Patriots? Because I'm telling you right now, nobody had a problem with the Patriots.
Nope, not at all.
Them first 3 Super Bowls, everybody was like, man, what a great story.
Like, I loved it. They came out around like the September 11th and Never Forget and all this other stuff. And before then, like, they came out against the greatest show on turf. And instead of being introduced like one by one, they came out as a team, locked up in elbows and everything. I thought that was the greatest thing I'd ever seen in my life as a football team.
That's one of my favorite Super Bowls of all time, that 0-1 team, because, you know, I was living in Missouri at the time. So you had a lot of arrogant St. Louis Rams fans. That was tough to live through because you liked that Rams team, which I did. I loved Marshall and Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner's story is our story. Kurt's one of us.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Torrey Holt. Who doesn't love Torrey Holt? Isaac Bruce, Old Man Isaac, Reverend Isaac. You know what I'm saying? You know, they had London Fletcher at linebacker. Grant Wistrom on the D-line was a great player. Like, they had some guys, man.
But they were justifiably arrogant, though. Like, they're fans anyway.
And then, yeah, you get to the Super Bowl, and they're telling you, like, they're the greatest team ever. And you're like, well, wait a minute now. First of all, y'all just got a team in St. Louis. Y'all can't keep a team in St. Louis. You know what I'm saying? Murphy Lee had more hits than y'all had St. Louis teams, okay? Like, shout out Murphy Lee. Shout out to St. Lunatics. You know, I try to front, but them boys was cold. So
Dirty ENT, we all we got.
So, you know, Chris, I speak from being one of those guys. There was no that Rams team that won a Super Bowl with Coach Vermeil and how they won with Kurt is one of the greatest football stories ever. You know? And here come the Patriots, and everybody's like, oh my God, this Tom Brady. He's like a little engine that could. Tom engine. Look at him go. The young guy, he makes the throws. And then they won 3 out of 4. And everybody's like, oh, wow, okay. Mm. And then they went back to another Super Bowl. When that team got Randy Moss, and everybody was like, well, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And they made it work. I was like, that's when I became a fan of what they do, because to understand the psychology of, oh, Randy just wanted out. Randy had so much in the tank. That's when they started to hate him, because, now they can just take the Randy Mosses of the world. Who basically the consensus of America is, this dude is just, what a waste of time. Yeah. And go undefeated, basically. And God bless David Tyree. And then they become the most, like, from that moment on, they were the most hated team. When they made Randy Moss successful the way they made him, and made Randy look for those 3 years, we hate him. I hate him. Everybody wants to talk about Spygate. That's not what it was. It was the fact that they could take Randy Moss and go there and do what they did. And that team's been hated ever since. And this is what's going to happen. That's why I told these Chiefs fans, I said, enjoy it now. You know, you got the wholesome kid. Like, Tom Brady was wholesome, man.
Yep.
But, you know, he went from, like, all right, Bridget Monahan, like, I'm dating Hollywood, you know. I got my Hollywood chick, you know what I mean? I'm doing what I'm doing.
TB12.
And then the next thing you know, Giselle's like, 3 Super Bowls. Come here. Like, she went from Leo DiCaprio to Tom Brady.
That's saying something.
Like, she didn't step up or down. She just made a move from, like, the dopest in the game, like one of the dopest in Hollywood. She's like, you know what? This guy's 6'5". What's Tom supposed to do? Tom's from San Mateo, okay? San Mateo's halfway between here and San Francisco. Nice little town, mountains, beautiful looking town. You know what I'm saying? This guy went to Michigan, man. He was in Ann Arbor. I mean, look here. This is supposed to be a clean show, but let's call a spade a spade. Does Tom look like Tom was smashing all up and down Ann Arbor? I don't think so.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I think Drew Henson was getting all that love. I don't think it was Tom. I think it was Drew Henson.
Yep.
So let's call it what it is. Like, you know, and that's what I think Patrick Mahomes will become. If they win, if they go back to back, it's going to be like, Look at this.
Dude, you know
now
this.
he thinks.
The scary part of this is because you brought it up and it brought it to my attention. Like, it's scary because they haven't even unleashed the kid yet. Like, it's been
that MVP year. He was unleashed. That was
right. So
that
they
was
like
special to watch, but
they haven't even taken the handcuffs off of him yet. It's like, all right, listen, I'm gonna let you make a couple throws, but I want to see what this Clyde Edwards kid has. All right, let's test out. Let's see if Kelsey's okay. Let's see if he's good. Let's see if Tyreek has a couple screens in him. Oh crap, we got a new toy to play with. Let's hand him the ball a couple of times. Let's just see what he can do. All right, listen, we're gonna play a real conservative game. Let's see what the defense does now.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it hasn't been a game where it's like, all right, listen, we're gonna go 4 wide all game. Let's see what you can do. It hasn't happened, and that's
it's gonna be
and
they're up,
and for
they
that
upset.
not
you hit it on the head, dude. They're upset about the Oakland game. I heard some things that John Gruden, I guess, did after that game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, they gonna come down there. Oh, and it's in a dome. Oh, come on.
You put these damn track stars on a turf setting in a dome?
And I'm making my prediction, hopefully, because I just picked him up off the waivers. I think Sammy Watkins comes back this week. I think there was a reason why they didn't rush him back.
No need to.
Because we know what hamstrings, and I know it because I had a hamstring in college. 1 month.
You do not rush it.
1 month. And basically, I actually haven't pulled, it was my right hamstring. I haven't pulled it since, but I popped it. And it took me a good, and luckily it was before camp started. So, Chris, he's in the ice baths now. I was ice tubbing. That was like the first year, Chris, I had to really ice tub. I was like, look, hey, these scouts, these scouts is in here coming to look at your boy. I got to make it to week 1.
Exactly.
Then our quarterback play, and I won't go there. Shout out to the Bulldogs. Anyway, but yeah, that's what I see happening. Like, I think you hit it on the head, dude. And the fact that he's done everything, and how amazing is it that the guy's 25-1, and I've got the defensive star that you are going. They haven't even unleashed him yet. That's how much you've paid attention to what's going on with them. Like, that's how captivating this guy is. And Kansas City, Kansas City is one of my favorite places in the country. It really is. They're hardworking. It's a fun town. They know who they are.
It's a blue-collar town.
They love their Chiefs. Like, they love the Chiefs. They love the Royals. Like, they do. And I just don't. And this kid, he's so humble. He's great. Like, he's cocky on a football field, but he's humble. Very Peyton Manning-esque, very Tom Brady-esque, Drew Brees. All these guys are. And that's what I try to tell people. Every player that plays in the NFL is a dick. Like, they're all assholes. They just are. I'm sorry, America. Some of these curse words are coming out.
It's true,
I'm having to defend a guy that I basically know is going to keep any team that I love from winning a Super Bowl. And especially my team, because you know what this really comes from? We didn't draft him. Let's just call it what it is. Let's just call a spade a spade. He was sitting
Deshaun Watson.
He was sitting right there, just hanging out. Just hanging out. Just like, you know what? Hey, I had a great conversation with Chicago, Dad. They told me it was all good. They said I was going there. So it doesn't even matter. If anytime he sees a Chicago Bears uniform, he is going to light us up. So he does have Michael Jordan MVP syndrome, because this is a stat that I actually heard. I heard it from Grant Hill some time ago, that after the 91 championship with the Bulls, you know they beat Detroit like 24 times straight. I don't think Michael Jordan ever lost a game to Detroit after they beat him in the championship, after the whole fiasco with the handshakes and stuff. Like that's how I see Patrick Mahomes treating Chicago. He's gonna straight Michael Jack. So let's say we break through and make a Super Bowl, and Kansas City's waiting on the other side. The fan in me will always go, I think we can find a way. The football player in me goes, he will never let us win a Super Bowl if he is in the Super Bowl ever. Like,
do you know what the worst part about I'm gonna bring it off topic and I get back on. But like when Jordan, after Malone won the MVP and Barkley won the MVP, and then they didn't get their hands shook by the Pistons, and Jordan was like, you know what? I took offense to that. And then he went out and destroyed whoever it was. That's what's going on right now. It's like, you know what?
He's built that way. He's built that way, Chris. Like he's upset.
I take offense.
He's upset about everything. Like he's finding ways. Like, hey, watch this, Chris. He's 25 years old.
That's scary, dude. That's scary.
He's 25 years old.
Let me give you the defensive side of this. They haven't unleashed him, right? Like he's still pretty much in handcuffs for what he can do. Think about the pressure this puts on the other offense, because if you go a 3 and out, you give him the ball back in a couple of seconds. He hadn't even sat down yet. Or think about the punter. Right, I cannot shank this punt, because if I shank it, then they got half the field to deal with. He's going to at least get them in field goal range. Like as the kicker, if you kick it out of bounds and put them on the 35, they're a third of the way already done. Mm-hmm. He puts so much pressure on every aspect. And I hadn't even brought up the opposing team's defense, because they already know the hell they're already in. He puts pressure on every aspect of the game, because if you don't do what you're supposed to do, if you don't do your job, he will get you either cut or embarrassed. Period.
Dude, he's a beast, bro. I mean, when it comes down to it, I mean, let's be honest about how great this guy is. DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray have one of the best plays in the last 5-10 years of football.
Yeah.
DeAndre Hopkins doesn't have to do anything else. He might be in the Hall of Fame just off that catch. That might have
solidified it, yeah.
Like if he got hurt today, they might go, we're gonna put you in because we saw what you were gonna become. They might right the wrong that they did with Sterling Sharp with DeAndre Hopkins, with the Gonzo numbers he has. We'll talk about Sterling Sharp another day. That'll come out. And Patrick Mahomes gave him, props like the whole league did. And DeAndre Hopkins, within his own prop, said, shoot, I thought we had you too until you went.
Godlike.
And you already mentioned the Super Saiyan thing. Like, understand, this is the best receiver in football. Within his own time of glory, has the ability to go, yeah, and we had you too, but you were like, nah, son. I remember what y'all did to me before. I know we beat y'all, and then we get in the playoffs, and we have them beat, and then he goes nuts. Like that's it's ridiculous. Like he's accomplished everything that you can do as a quarterback in your career. And
early,
he's done it all by 25.
Here's the thing. So let's bring it a little country, a little hood right now. He ain't even got his grown man strength yet. Like, he ain't even got Hennessy on the breath yet. Like, you're still dealing with college version of him because he's 25. You got to think, most quarterbacks usually get great around that 27 to 32 range. That's when they really the game slows down and they really start to dissect the game and really start being quarterbacks. This kid is 3 years in?
3 years as a starter, 4 in the league, yeah.
So this kid's 4 years in the league and hasn't even reached max potential yet. If that doesn't terrify you as a defensive coordinator as a defensive-based team, I don't know what was, because I'll speak from my own experience, and Walter do the same. College, the game was the same, blah, blah, blah. When I went pro, NFL, Arena 1, indoor football, it took my third or fourth season for the game to slow down and me to be able to look around and like, okay, this is happening, that's happening. I know where the ball's going. It took 3 or 4 seasons, and that third or fourth season, like, I was already 27, I want to say, 26, 27. So for him to be 25 and the game is already slowed down to a Matrix-like crawl, and him being able to see, okay, the safety went that way. I know the post is coming. I'm not even going to look to the last second touchdown. That's terrifying.
Yeah. I think in my experience as a receiver, I think there's only one guy, and I played with some great guys. Like Dusty Burke was phenomenal. I love Dusty. Without Dusty, there is no Mr. Saturday Night. Dusty gave me my confidence at 19 in college, and we got to hook up in Bloomington. Thanks to him, he actually got me signed to the team. Him and my boy Nick Root. We all played at Truman together. Rocky Hines was another good one. Rocky was a 5-star, USC boy, UNLV. Jake Shishini, another great one. But the one guy I saw it, and I saw it in 2009, and to me, it's still the greatest quarterback performance I ever seen, is when it's like it's that easy. Because for Chris, it was that easy.
Yeah.
It had gotten to the point. 2008 was a phenomenal year for him. He still stole my MVP, and I will stand by that. That's still my trophy. It's sitting in his house with his name on it, but it was mine. But that 2009 year, like, once the chess pieces were in place, he knew exactly what he needed. And then once the front office did what they did, a.k.a. Coach O, it was ridiculous. And I think for me as a player, I didn't get the chance to go the routes Chris went. I'm jealous of that in a good way. And it's what makes the show such a great dynamic. But for me as a pro, indoor Chris, it really, I'd say the middle of my second year, I understood how to be that type of player. And then the third year of like, well, okay, now you're the man now. It was slow, but it wasn't that great. It was that year with Chris. Where
Yeah.
I always say that, like, Robert Reed to me was like
Obi-Wan Kenobi,
he was
baby.
my Obi-Wan. Like he was that for me. And once he kind of really showed me how to use the Force, then I became a Jedi, dude. And I became one of the greatest Jedi Knights to ever do this thing they call play receiver. I'm one of the GOATs. I don't care. In my line of what I did,
Facts.
My numbers speak for itself. It's because I had a guy that took. You think you're dope, but I'm gonna make you dope. And I'll
show you how to do this, son.
Hey, that 3-headed monster of Chris, Robert, and Haran with me, dude. So, guys, this is where Patrick Mahomes is at. Like, we both seen it in our eyes as players when we knew we became, part of the Jedi family. And this kid, to me, the first time he stepped on the field and I watched him play, I said, okay. They're getting ready to sit like it makes sense why they drafted this kid. Because I was like, Alex Smith gets it done for him. They just need to get him a little bit more. And they were like, nope, he doesn't have what Tyreek needs. Because Tyreek was on the team with Alex Smith. And Andy Reid had the hindsight to do Tyreek Hill was going to be the deep threat that he's become. Like, there's a lot to that, and to understand that there's only one kid that can do what they traded up to get him. They had been winning 10, 11 games a year under Andy. You're not getting in the top 10 with their draft pick. So they were like, we want him. They knew. And they were smart enough to know that the Bears were going to mess it up. Chris, I'm glad I got some screwball and the day off tomorrow. I'm going to play golf tomorrow, America. I'm telling you.
I don't blame you.
It's been rough. I'm over here having to sing the praises of somebody that should be on my team. This is the worst.
Dude, I'll be honest with you. Like, I took recruiting visits to Texas Tech. I love Texas Tech as a school, but I did not have faith in him going into the league because he, as a quarterback in college, I thought it was inflated numbers the same way Oklahoma, like, receivers and quarterbacks have. Like, I just thought it was inflated numbers because if you think about it, Texas Tech, that air raid offense is just throw. You throw enough, you'll get 300-400 yards, whatever. I'll be the first to tell you, I messed that one up. Like, I should have believed in the kid.
I want to pivot something on you. I know we talked about doing this show a different way.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny? There's a common denominator in some of these guys. And I'm going to pivot that question. So what we're going to do, America, I think we've said enough about Patrick in this one. Just know for a fact that if he stays on the rate he's on, so if we're talking like he'll probably end up throwing 45 touchdowns. And if he has less than 5 picks and he's not the MVP, it's Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be 14-2, 13-3. Like, just forget about it. They might be 15-1 because now they've got somebody to chase. So good luck with that. But I want to pivot a question that we're going to talk about. And I'm gonna use it one way, but then I'm going to kind of do it a second way because it might be time to really, the way we talked about Mahomes, to talk about this guy as well too. So, America, Chris Terman's let me run the show with these questions. So we'll be right back with the second episode of What's Good, America?
What's Good, America?